So today we're going to be doing a timing belt replacement on a 2011 MK6 Volkswagen Jetta with a 2-liter engine. I bought a kit from ECS. I came with coolant, timing belt, water pump, tensioner, thermostat, a bunch of bolts, crankshaft, camshaft seal, along with the serpentine belt. Everything's German, and it's like a nice kit with quality parts that I'm going to be putting onto this thing. It has 115,000 miles on it. I figured now is a good time to replace this. So I'm going to bring you guys along and show you what I have to do to replace this thing. First, I'm going to jack this thing up. I'm going to take this wheel off, and there's a fender liner in there that I'm going to remove, and that will allow me to get to the crankshaft like pulley. I need to take that pulley off because the pulley covers the cover. I can't get it off without removing that, and so I got to take the serpentine belt off also in order to get to that belt. Alright guys, so wheel is off, just stuck it back there, and there's this liner in this fender. It is a T25. There's several bolts holding this thing on, and we got to access the crank pulley. You can see part of the engine right back in there. So the fender liner is out, and there's a bunch of dirt and like crap built up in this like fender behind that liner. That's like the grime and crap from, I guess, 9 years of driving. So the Volkswagen bodies are galvanized. Even though they're galvanized, this will still cause like rust to eventually start to form right there. Basically, I'm gonna clean this out, and I'm gonna also take out the other fender liner and clean that out as well, just because I'm a car guy and I can't stand rust. I have no idea where this car's gonna end up, so I don't know if we'll have it long term, but so yeah, definitely clean that out if you take this fender liner out. Next is the serpentine belt and crank pulley. It has 6mm like Allens in there, which is probably an 8mm bolt. The serpentine belt has to come off obviously though, and then I can get the cover off for the timing belt, and you can kind of see there's like a little outline around that, and that cover holds the belt like in place. It can't come off. So pretty easy here on the serpentine belt. All you do is grab a 16mm wrench, put it on that flat, and you can see the belt loosen as I'm pushing on that tensioner. Basically, you just take the belt right off, and then the crank. All right guys, so I got my 8mm bolts out of that pulley. This thing literally comes right off, and I also noticed even if you turn this thing like to the wrong orientation, the holes do not line up. So there's literally no way you can put this thing back on wrong. So yeah, this comes right off, and as you can see back in there is the timing belt. So this is the cover that I need to take off, which is why I had to take this pulley off. So then bolts are T30s. I'm gonna remove that cover so we can get access to that belt. So I got the 4 bolts out of this cover. They're just little 6mm T30 head. These 100% have Loctite on them, and I imagine they have Loctite on them because if one of these were to come out or rattle loose, it has the potential to get into where the timing belt is and wreck your engine, wreck your trip, or wherever you're driving. So I'm definitely going to be putting Loctite back on these things because I don't want them coming out, and there were Loctite on there to begin with. So this cover can come out, but there's the engine mount up under there that is in the way. So I'm gonna start tearing stuff apart up here. I'm gonna just take this cover off. I have to take this mount off, so I need to support the engine from up under there so it doesn't just fall down. So I got the engine mount off, and there's another bracket still down in there that I haven't even took out because I'm just gonna leave it in there and put it back on from the same spot because it's kind of tight. I just popped this cover off, which is just 2 little clips right there and right there. So this tensioner bracket has the power steering bracket going to it, but the power steering bracket also snakes around into the alternator mount right there. So to get that bracket out of that spot, you have to loosen this, and you have to hit this, and it'll hit that little steel insert out of the hole a little bit, and it'll loosen up this bracket, and then when you tighten this bolt again, when you put it back together, it'll suck that insert back in up tight against that bracket. So you have to hit that. As you can see on there, I missed a couple times. Not necessarily missed, but my hammer is kind of big, and I just hit that bracket, which is fine, but you have to hit that out in order, so you have to hit that steel insert out in order to get this to come out, which is like super loose now, and I'll easily be able to get this tensioner off. So this bolt in the tensioner and also the bracket that holds the power steering fluid is kind of stuck. So I just like moved everything out of the way from this tensioner, and actually that comes off. So basically I can get to everything right now, and I'm leaving all this mess here, and I'll just put that back together when I am ready. And now I'm gonna get this thing at top dead center. There is a mark right there, and I'm sure there's a mark on this gear somewhere. Oh, there is, back in there, it's blue. I'm gonna line that up. So I got that arrow lined up with that notch on the camshaft, and on the crank, the middle of that gear, that cog gear, is lined up with that casting mark on the aluminum. I'm just gonna kind of go with that. I'm not gonna let the crank turn, and I'm gonna have this in the same spot. And to be 100% honest with you, I don't know if this is on valve overlap or if it's on the compression stroke. So as long as the crank and cam don't turn out of these spots, I'll be fine. Got the belt off, got the tensioner off. The coolant is draining. And right now, I think I'm ready to take the water pump off. I'm thinking the coolant's drained enough to where it's not gonna rush down the side of the engine. So here are the two water pumps right next to each other. The new one has a steel impeller, the original one has a plastic. I'm gonna put some grease on this just so it slides into the engine better, because that's a super tight fit. Hopefully it'll slide in there a little bit easier. So since the bolts in the water pump and other like components in here have the potential to come out and get into your timing belt and into the gears and completely wreck everything, I always use Loctite, red Loctite, on all this stuff, all the bolts, and a lot of people are afraid of that stuff. Any kind of bolts like that that are important that cannot come out, I always use red Loctite. That's just personal preference. You guys can roast me if you want to, but these water pumps, this water pump, the tensioner, all these cover bolts and stuff, red Loctite, 100%. I'm sticking to it. Okay guys, so you see how my tensioner is not fitting inside of that freeze plug that good? It's like on the outside, and it's not locating in the actual plug. So the OEM one fits right in there and locates on the inside. You can clearly see it going into that hole. And the aftermarket one, it just doesn't line up as well. So that's a lot higher in that hole, and it does not seat all the way down. And also back here, it doesn't seat on the cylinder head because that tab is holding it back off. So I think I'm gonna have to bend this down a little bit, because you see how this one only protrudes, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 mil. And that one's like super tall. So I think if this is bent more, it would go inside of that freeze plug and locate. So I'm gonna have to get this thing probably in the vise to try to mimic that one. This is the problem with aftermarket parts, which is usually why I try to stick to a German part. So this tensioner is not 100%. So I took a pair of vice grips and clipped it on them and bent this over a little bit. You can see how it's not a 90 degree anymore, and it has a little radius like right in there. But now I can get it to locate inside of that hole right there. With that piece bent, I can now get it to fit inside of that hole, and that's what you want, because then it locates and it cannot turn. Before, it would not go in at all and would not locate this good. So definitely make sure that goes into the freeze plug, and you might have to bend that tab a little bit, but if it locates like that, then I'd say you'd be good with the tensioner. Timing belt is on, tensioner is torqued, and it's tightened. Water pump's good, and my crank and cam locations are good. I should still probably turn the engine over a couple times to make sure it ends up in the same spot again and make sure it doesn't hit anything, nothing's wrong. Got the belt covers on, got them all torqued, got the Serpentine tensioner bolt torqued. So we're wrapping it up. We got all the belt on, we got the coolant bottle mounted, the windshield wiper, everything's tight. So you can see the thermostat down in there, and this is the little thermostat housing, and there's an O-ring spot. I got the new O-ring, so I'm gonna pull that thing out of there and in with the new one. Old one, new one, they both pretty much look exactly the same. They both say BTO on them, so I'm guessing that is a brand, and it's pretty much the same brand as the OEM. I'm gonna put this thing back down into that hole and get my new O-ring in there. So I got the thermostat back in. That's not that hard of a job, just 2 screws with a little pipe on it. So I think I'm ready to start this thing up. The motor does turn over. I turned it over by hand 2 times, back, everything's lined back up, crank and cam. I don't have coolant in it now, but I'm gonna start it up just for a second to make sure it runs and sounds right before I go dumping coolant back in it. In case I gotta take anything back apart, here is the first startup. Alright, she sounds good. Some serpentine belt on there as well. So I'm gonna shut it down because I don't have any coolant in it. Got the covers on the bottom of the car, got the oil changed, oil filter in there, cleaned up that fender where it was all nasty. Did get the wheel on. Alright, got her filled up with coolant. Took about 3 liters, a little bit less than a gallon. I've been working on this thing all day. I think that wraps it up for this 2011 Jetta 2 liter. If you have any questions, comments on this car, definitely leave it down below. I'll be checking them and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I think that's it for this video. So if you like it, definitely stick around for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.